And good afternoon, everybody. This is Art Shed. It's time for the show. Let's be reasonable. And boy, folks, what are we doing? We're reasonable people in the face of a lot of what? We talk about the chaos and we talk about all the tomfoolery and the flimflammery and all the different things that are going on during this particular season, this election season. And remember, I told you from the beginning, back when I started this channel back in October of last year, it's going to be a lot of ebbs and flows, a lot of stuff that you probably will look at and not pay attention to. A lot will happen, and a lot has happened. I mean, you've had, for the first time since LBJ, the sitting president decide not to run for office, right? Not to run on his record. Okay, so all of these things are happening, right? Now we have the Democratic National Convention just wrapped up a week ago. As you noticed, or note from what I was saying earlier, I'm thinking +5, +7 coming out of the convention. If they do this right with escape velocity, I'm not quite certain I see them doing this right as of yet. Okay, so, but yes, the +5 is there. The Ipsos poll, the Reuters poll, the Fox News poll. All of these polls are showing +4, +4, +5, +3. They're getting in that strategic zone back to an even race. And if you look at the Real Clear Politics poll, we're about there. Harris +1.8. Okay, so what does that say? It's going to be a tight race, people. An extremely tight race where, well, it becomes an operation at this point of who actually shows up. All right. So, and the reason why, I mean, look, it, it's going to come down to North Carolina. It's going to come down to Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Nevada, Arizona. Those areas. That's what will be the difference between whether a candidate gets to 270 or not. Okay. So that being said, coming out of the convention, things look great. However, we need to start working on the message. Now, we talked about Harris's message about her opportunity economy. I got to tell you, I have no idea what that means. No idea what that means. And when she even explains it to me, the fact that you want to create these opportunities where people have the ability to, love who they want to love has nothing to do with the economy. They have the ability to go out and create their own business. Yes, you want to create entrepreneurship. Go out. Look, it's those items that are very important. Who you loving has nothing to do with the economy. But I say that to say this. At the end of the day, I mean, I looked at her conversation with Dana Bash, and I wasn't, again, I mean, there were things that she said that I just, at the end of the day, I really wasn't that impressed with. So let's hear one of these items and let's talk about it on the other side.
We're ready to turn the page on that.
So what would you do day one?
Day one, it's going to be about one, implementing my plan for what I call an opportunity economy. I've already laid out a number of proposals in that regard, which include what we're going to do to bring down the cost of everyday goods, what we're going to do to invest in America's small businesses, what we're going to do to invest in families, for example, extending the child tax credit to $6,000 for families for the first year of their child's life to help them buy a car seat, to help them buy baby clothes, a crib. There's the work that we're going to do that is about investing in the American family around affordable housing, a big issue in our country right now. So there are a number of things on day one.
What about you?
Okay, so look, in what she's saying, I mean, she's speaking of this as these are policy things that we will have to walk through Congress in order to get them done. Well, that will take time. And in most cases, if you don't have control of the House and the Senate, your whatever your message is goes out the window. Your government at that point becomes a caretaker government because reaching consensus with the other side, will be a difficult thing to do. It's highly unlikely that if Republicans keep control of the House and Democrats remain in control of the Senate, Republicans are not bringing that border bill back to the table. They're not going to do it. Their job, if Harris gets elected, will be to minimize her footprint as much as possible, much like what they did to President Barack Obama. It will be their desire to make her a one-term president. Now, you got a lot of people that got upset with Mitch McConnell for saying that about Obama and saying that it was racist and the rest of it. No, it wasn't racist. That's politics. That's just the politics of it. Democrats, if you have a Republican in office, trust me, you want to make him a one-term president. You don't want to give him two, right? So it wasn't racist, but yeah, they're going to do everything in their power in order to stymie any type of progress that she would try to you might say, lend some political capital to. So now think about this. And all of these things are based on the question of what are you going to do on day one? Now, look, she could come out and say some things like, I'm going to repeal the Trump tariffs. That's a good thing. Okay. Now, there's a conversation about what happens if you repeal the Trump tariffs. But if you're going to have that conversation, she needs to be well equipped to tell the American people how those tariffs have hurt the American consumer's pocketbook. Plenty of evidence to that point. Okay. But she can't really come out and say that, because if she comes out and says that she wants to repeal the tariffs, then she's saying that she is there's a stark difference between her and her predecessor, Joe Biden, because he decided to keep the tariffs. Now, the administration said that they were keeping the tariffs after hearing from businesses and the rest of it. No, I believe the reality of them keeping the tariffs is because, look, if corporations' tax rate essentially is at like 8%, tariffs are another way for them to be paying into this system. Okay, so the tariffs do have a taxation type benefit, regardless of what Trump may tell you. Okay, that the Chinese are going to pay the taxes. No, the hell they're not. Those taxes are paid by American corporations, and that debt or that load is passed off to the American people. So she could come right out and say that. I don't know if she wants to do that. The other thing she could say is that, you know what? We're just going to put a moratorium on prices. Okay, that's a hard sell too. Okay, the American people may like that. However, American businesses will not like that. So, I mean, it becomes it's a hard question. I'm going to tell you, it's a difficult question for an incumbency to answer. The best answer for her in this particular case is just to say, you know what, we're going to continue in this vein of creating an opportunity economy built around the middle class, because we know that when the middle class prospers, America prospers. And she can cite the stats that come out of the 1930s through the 1970s. American prosperity was because of middle class, right? You saw middle class wage growth. I mean, going up 100% every 10-year, over a 10-year period, 30s, 40s, it went up 100%. So you can say that was a really good thing, but you also have to temper that with the opposite side. You have to tell what impact it had on business. It did have an impact on slowing down businesses because with tariffs and with price controls, guess what? I mean, it stymied businesses. It stymied entrepreneurial growth, right? All of these things, there were some negatives, right? But you can turn right around and talk about the benefits of supply side economics from the 1980s and going forward, and say, you know what, it unleashed the stock market. I mean, we're seeing stock market highs at record highs today, and it has been really good for business growth. But supply side economics hasn't really been good for the middle class and American people and wage growth. You can look at that, and she can tell that contrast. And you know what? The best thing to say is, you know what? We can take the best. When she talks about the way forward, we can take the best of both of these equations and carve out a way that's beneficial not only for the American people, but also beneficial for businesses and entrepreneurs. And this is where you pivot to look at the wider economy and say, look, you know what? You don't like the Green New Deal? Then we should be working on the crypto space because there's legacy money to be created there. I mean, most people, you look at Bitcoin and it's like the equivalent to gold. You have no idea what good is it. What is this doing? What's the intrinsic value of a Bitcoin? Nobody knows. It's the same as gold. What's the intrinsic value of a gold? It's a precious metal, but other than that, what is it? Right? But when you see these things, you can say, the crypto space is going to be a place for economic growth, and we want to be on the ground there. That's good for the American people, right? So there's a ton of different things that you can say in order to make this case to the American people, well, what it is that you're trying to do. And what I see from Harris and Walz today, right now, is that we're just kind of, you know, I'll use the football metaphor. Governor Walz would know. We're just gridiron smashing this down the field right now. When some of these things you need to get it airborne, take it to start dropping some passes. Okay, because the avenues are there. You can point out the failures of supply side economics and the failures of Republican governance under supply side economics. I mean, they're crystal clear. And you can point to the fact that, rural communities, they used to be with the American people or with the Democratic Party. And now they're with Republicans. But you can point out, how's that working for you when it comes to rural hospitals and when it comes to job prospects, when it comes to really infrastructure out in the rural areas? How's that really working out for you? Because I'm here to tell you, in most cases, it's not. In certain cases, I do see situations where they're robbing from the urban environment in order to kind of put money into rural areas, but they're only doing that, folks, because they've neglected the rural communities for so long. So there's a story there that they can tell. And folks, that's momentum. Keep selling that story. Keep telling, because you can look, if they were once Democrats, there's a compelling case that they can be Democrats again. But you got to sell them the right message. And what you hear from Donald Trump is, look, Donald Trump is on TV on Friday telling everybody that he is going to, he doesn't like the 6-week abortion ban in Florida, right? Only to backtrack after getting a bunch of flack from the Christian conservatives that, I'm going to support the 6-week ban. He's on TV on Friday telling the American people that he is a supporter of IVF and that he is going to mandate that the government pays for it. The government pays for it? Is that what he really meant to say? And then he says he's going to mandate that the business or the insurance companies pay for it. I bet insurance companies were like, we are? Right? So his message is all over the place. Okay. I recall during the midterm election in 2018, the blue wave, Donald Trump was on TV with about a week or so left saying that Congress was in session and that they were going to pass a historic middle class tax cut. Most people don't know. You can find the video, right? That's a lie. So You have to be able to balance what it is that you're trying to do against the backdrop of Donald Trump's lies. That should be an easy proposition if you have a salient message for the American people. And that, folks, is how you win this election. It's that crystal clear. Now, I'm 16 minutes in. I'm going to stop because we could go on with the CNN interviews, and there's other parts where I would still say the message needs to be sharper. The message really does need to be sharper. You need to be able to bring the American people along on this ride. The retail politics is great. It looks good. Going into areas where Democrats, that looks good, but you got to have a message for them. That looks better. All right. So all this being said, folks, look, I'm done for the day. We're up to date with regard to the fallout after the convention. She did get a plus at best, a +5 bump, but the race is still within the margins. When you look at the spread is only still 1.8. That, ladies and gentlemen, sets up the first person to 270 is the winner. Okay, you'll have all of your states that are a lock, and then you'll have those purple states with that swing, right? And once you get outside of that margin of error, so she's at 1.8 right now. She needs to be at 4. She needs to be at 5. If she's at 4 or 5, then this race has what I would refer to as Obama energy. Right now, it doesn't. She's just breaking even. But in order to get to that Obama energy, you got to incite these people as to what it is that you really plan to do. And you know what? Back to what do you do on day one? What if you don't have a Senate and a Senate and a House of Representatives that's with you? What can you do by executive order? Now, just to know that executive order really doesn't mean shit. I'm sorry. Executive order doesn't really mean anything because it can be challenged. But the fact that you do it by executive order gives the impression to the American people that you're doing something about it. You're wanting to do more about it, but you need Congress's help. All right, folks, look, I could talk about this until I'm blue in the face. And for a black guy to turn blue, that would be saying a lot. So I would just say, everybody, I don't know how you're voting. I know how I'm voting. I just can't vote for Donald Trump. Just can't do it because I see that to be a train wreck just waiting to happen. Even if he does half of the tariff thing that he wants to do, it's a disaster for the American economy. Okay? It just is. But, for Kamala Harris to get in office, she really needs to have a fine-tuned economic message, and she needs to go through, and talk with business people about how do we execute this if we can't get it done through Congress. You're going to need some participation. You're going to need some help. So you need to be talking to them now. That's just my point. Anyway, folks, like and subscribe. Give me your thoughts in the comment section on the other side. So that's all I have to say today. Hope you enjoy this broadcast. Look forward to doing the next one. Hopefully we learn more about the economic message from Harris, because I already know what the economic message is from Donald Trump. There is no message. There is no economic message. It's just all myth and fictions. Because if you really think about Donald Trump, the only thing he really did during his administration was spend money. He spent taxpayer money. He didn't really do anything. He just spent money. And if you think that that's a policy that you can get behind, well, I'm just here to tell you, it comes with deficits and it comes with debt. And it's been my understanding that Republicans in particular don't like those things. So, all right, folks. Anyway, like and subscribe. Let us know what your thoughts are. Hope you enjoy this broadcast. Have a good day.